This is the program the Scientologists didn't want you to see. They've done all they can to stop it.
Why? Because the big story has secretly filmed inside the cult to reveal its bizarre mind control techniques. This man is talking to an ashtray. And this man is supposed to be teaching communication skills. Tonight, as worldwide concern mounts over cults, we go inside one of the biggest in Britain. Prompted by recent cases involving Scientologists, we began to investigate what goes on inside these seemingly harmless little shops that are in high streets all over Britain. The results of our inquiry are disturbing. They're reinforced this week by a new report from independent American cult experts who've also come up with new evidence about Scientology.
Of all the cult groups we've studied for the last 2 decades now, Scientology has shown itself consistently to be the most effective in terms of its recruiting, and more importantly, potentially the most damaging in terms of its effects on its members.
So is Scientology a harmless fringe religion, or is it a sinister sect that controls the minds of its members? To find out, the big story has sent an undercover reporter inside the organization.
But first, a military intelligence consultant and some former Scientologists drilled big story reporter Ali Davis in how to pass Scientology's security checks.
And then you explain it in your own words, okay? Are you a journalist? What does this question mean to you?
It means, do I work in journalism?
Just a little bit of movement there still on that, when I asked you that question. There's not much, but just a little bit. Let's just ask it you again so you feel a bit more comfortable. I'll take this question with you. Are you a journalist?
No.
Ali is learning to handle the E-meter, a primitive lie detector.
Are you a journalist?
No.
Good.
She'll frequently encounter security checks like this once inside Scientology. Ali sets off for Poole in Dorset, home of one of Scientology's most successful missions. Some of Ali's experiences were captured by her secret camera. Others we have reconstructed from the notes she made immediately afterwards. On Poole High Street, she's approached within minutes by a young man with a clipboard.
Explorer.
Claiming to promote a book, the young man persuades Ali to go with him to his office to complete a survey. It's 40 minutes before he admits he works for the Scientologists. This is how most people are recruited into Scientology, but they don't know the true beginnings of this so-called science of the mind. Scientology was created by this man, Lafayette Ron Hubbard, or plain Ron to his followers. From within Hubbard's inner circle, his PR man, Vaughan Young, worked on Ron's chief ambition for 20 years.
Hubbard literally had a plan for world conquest. He actually literally wanted to take over the world. But he had to put it into other terms, and the term he came up with was to clear the planet. And this sounds like a very beneficent action. We're going to clear the planet, which means rid it of its problems. But really, it was more of a case like a Hitler, that he wants to rid the planet of vermin. And the vermin are the people that are stopping him. And these were basically the enemies of Scientology.
Scientologists dismiss as propaganda all criticism of Ron Hubbard, the church, or their beliefs from former members, or apostates as they call them. But there are plenty of independent sources too.
Science fiction writer Hubbard created a colourful life history for himself, claiming to be a nuclear physicist, explorer, and war hero. This was exposed as the myth it was by Sunday Times journalist Russell Miller.
Ron Hubbard was a charlatan, a liar, a competence trickster, a thief. He invented his whole life. He invented a career to substantiate himself as a guru for the Church of Scientology.
In 1968, Hubbard was banned from Britain and took to the high seas. The crew of mostly young followers became the elite core of Scientology, the C organization.
Do you ever think that you might be quite mad?
Oh, yes. The one man in the world who never believes he's mad is a madman.
Hubbard's organization fought back against bans and adverse publicity worldwide to become a multi-million-dollar empire controlling a myriad of interlocking companies. Hubbard left $650 million when he died in 1986. Scientology then passed to a new master, David Miscavige. For 5 months, Miscavige's private office was managed by Vaughan Young's wife, Stacy.
His viciousness and his cruelty to staff was unlike anything I'd ever experienced in my life. He wanted me to carry out a lot of his vindictive orders. He just loved to degrade the staff. He got a kick out of it. He thought it was funny. Anybody who didn't think it was funny, like I didn't, was very suspect.
Back in Poole, Ali agreed to complete a personality test at home for the Scientologists. This is their standard recruiting technique. She planned to drop it off at the center and return the next day for her results, so she wasn't wearing her secret camera gear. But the Scientologists were determined she should wait. After more than an hour's wait, she was eventually ushered in to see Debbie, the registrar.
When I was in Debbie's office the first night, I spoke about a relationship breakup, and she really dug into that. She made me actually feel really bad about that, although I'm completely over it. She then went through the personality test. She showed me all these things that were wrong with me, that I had bad communication skills, that I had negative attitude, things that really I don't have in real life, that she made out that I had.
This grinding down of Ali's confidence went on for an hour, until Ali paid £40 for help that Debbie said she needed. Before Ali went undercover, Dr. Brian Tully, a leading consultant clinical and forensic psychologist, had already given her a properly validated personality test.
Ready to go. I'd like you to start the test now, and I'll come back in about 35 minutes.
Okay.
Dr. Tully's findings were rather different to those of the Scientologists.
As far as one can understand this form, they're more or less saying that she has some desirable qualities, but she has a whole range of undesirable and poor communication skills. Now, that's just not true. On a scientifically validated test, we find that actually she's a very warm person. She likes to get involved with people at a very early stage. She's emotionally stable. She's open to new experience and interest.